Today, I'm talking about the 5 top mistakes that non-professionals make when they are planning their vacations. By not doing these 5 things, you can lose time, you can lose a ton of money, and just have not as great of an experience. But if you can hit all 5 of these, your vacations are going to be even more magnificent. You're going to save more money, and everything is just going to run far more smoothly. Even if something goes wrong, you'll be covered. So, are you ready? Let's go ahead and dive in. The 5th biggest mistake that non-professionals make is that they do not call ahead. Now, this is particularly important since coronavirus to call ahead to wherever it is that you're going. And by that, I mean call the hotel. If you're not in a hotel, call your Airbnb host, or wherever it is that you're staying, call somebody there. And if you are staying in a place where you can't call anybody, then find a local hotel and call them instead. But call ahead and find out exactly what the situation is in that city at that time. By that, I mean, with regard to coronavirus, what's open and what's closed? Can you get food? Is it only takeout and delivery, or can you dine in? The hotel you're staying at, is their restaurant open? What are the options there? Are things like pools and spas, if that is something that you're interested in, are those things open? In the city in general, I always like to call ahead, even if it's not coronavirus, and find out, are there any holidays in the time span that I'm coming up that I don't know about? Or anything in regard to how the days progress. For instance, in Spain, when is siesta? So I can plan around that. If there's a bank holiday or something like where all of the businesses are closed on Sundays, I'd want to know that. So when I'm planning my itinerary, I know those things. Other things like safety in the area. What is the best way to get around transportation? Can I walk? Should I take the metro? Is that safe? Do I need to rent a car? Things of that nature. Also, cash versus credit card. Should you carry around a lot of cash, or do most places take credit? That's especially important if you are traveling abroad. But calling ahead can give you details that you maybe could not find when you're researching online, things that locals will know that they can give you a heads up about to make your vacation run far more smoothly once you get there. Mistake number 4 is not checking the little details. And this kind of bleeds into mistake number 5, but it's the little things that actually make or break a vacation. You might have the perfect flight and the perfect hotel and seeing all these different things and doing all these different activities, but if you don't consider the little details, that whole bright, beautiful plan might die and crash and burn. So by little details, it's some of the things I already mentioned in mistake number 5. Things like find out whether, especially if you're going abroad, whether to use cash or credit card. If you need to carry cash, for instance, I went to Tokyo last year. They are primarily cash. There's some places that take credit card, but for the most part, you need to have cash to pay for things. And then other places, like in America, you can use credit card pretty much everywhere. But there might be little things that you want to have cash for. Finding out those things will make that run more smoothly. Things like safety, what's the best way to get around? Are there any neighborhoods or areas you should avoid? Things like transportation, what is the best way to get around? Other things like openings. Other things like openings. So for instance, if you're planning to go to the Louvre on a vacation to Paris and you don't figure out ahead of time what days it's open, it might be closed for construction or something might happen. Or if you're going to, say, Disneyland and you don't find out kind of what's in store, you might find out you get there and half of the rides you're wanting to ride are closed for construction. So it's always good to call ahead or to find out what's open, what's closed, so that everything you're wanting to do, for sure is available to you. Also things like construction, as far as if you're going hiking, if there's weather delays or problems. Again, back when I went to Japan, there was an entire area that had just gotten hit by a lot of landslides, and so a lot of it was closed. So I couldn't have gone even if I wanted to. But planning and researching those things ahead of time can make all the difference in your vacation. If all of those little things are ironed out and you know what you're running into, it's going to make everything run much more smoothly. Mistake number 3 is not getting travel insurance. Now, this is particularly important if you're traveling abroad, but it also pertains when you are traveling domestically. Not only does it cover you if something is canceled or you have a flight delay and things get moved or things get changed and you need help paying for a hotel overnight or something. If it also covers if the travel provider you're going to defaults and goes bankrupt. And in coronavirus, we all know that that's been happening a lot, where an entire airline or hotel chain just shuts down. They just go bankrupt. And then if you had tickets on that flight or that thing, you lose your money. If you have travel insurance, they will cover you in case something like that happens. The other thing is medical. So not only does it cover if you get sick or if you get hurt, but what if you're somewhere and you need to be airlifted out? Your common insurance that you have at home is not going to cover things like that. It also covers dental problems if you crack a tooth and you need to go to a dentist while you're abroad. And then it also just has other protections and other things that I really like. One of my favorite travel insurance providers also has things like if you get your credit cards and your passport stolen, they will not only float you some extra cash to get you by, but they also help you to replace your passport and things of that nature. So just in general, it is a nice protection to have, because you never know when something might go wrong, and having that security, having that backup could make all the difference. Mistake number 2 is not using Google. I have tried 100 different travel booking engines, both open to the public and only open to the travel industry. I have been around for 20 years in this industry. And at the moment, and this might change, but at the moment, my favorite website that seems to consistently give me good information I can trust, and also information, they usually find the cheapest price. Every once in a while they don't, but for the most part, I consistently find the cheapest price and the best information, and that is Google Flights and Google Hotels. They also have some Google, things to do, things of that nature. That one is okay. I mean, it's a good research tool, but I don't use it as much. But Google Flights and Google Hotels are my top 2 picks when I am booking any new vacation, for the reasons I said. It gives me reliable information. It has a lot of really great tools where I can play with dates and things to see when is the best time to go. And it consistently gives me the best prices available for the time that I'm going to go. So mistake number 2 is to not ever look at Google. Okay, and the number 1 top mistake that people make is not being flexible. Now, this isn't always in our control, but if you want to save money, if you want to go when it's the best time to visit a place where there's perhaps less crowds, or to go to special unique places, the name of the game is being flexible. By that, I don't simply just mean flexible on dates. I also mean flexible on where you're flying out of, where you're flying into, potential different destinations, potential different day trips. I'm also talking about being flexible on hotel versus vacation rental versus glamping or camping, or boats or ships or cruises versus, land-based. Just being flexible and being open to all of the possibilities. By being as flexible as you can, and I realize sometimes you only have a vacation this week, it's the only week you can have a vacation, and that's fine, but even if that's the case, then maybe be open to all of the other details around it. Open to destinations, maybe going into or out of a different place, open to different forms of transportation, other ideas. The more flexible you are, the more money you're going to save. Consistently, always, you're going to save money if you're flexible on your timing and on when you go and the airports you leave and out of. So you're always going to save money by being flexible, or always know you're getting the best price available under your circumstances. You're going to be open to a world of options you may not have considered. There are so many things out there, and so many things you may or may not have known about or have done, that can just create an incredible vacation. So by being flexible in all of the different parameters, you can ensure that you're going to have a remarkable vacation no matter what, and save the most money. So those are the top 5 mistakes I see non-professionals make when they're planning their vacations. But if you do all 5, you are going to come a lot further in making sure your vacation is absolutely extraordinary. So as I mentioned, one of those was to check Google. So if you'd like to learn more about Google Flights, go ahead and check out this video here, where I cover how to use Google Flights and how to make the most of it. And other than that, I want to thank you so much for stopping by. If you found this helpful, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And I hope you join us. We'd love to have you. And other than that, have a fantastic day. I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.